Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQ Aaron Rift. We are coming off Backlash. This was the post-Backlash edition of Monday Night Raw. I had some technical difficulties a few minutes ago. I am back. Hopefully everyone watching live can watch it without any problems. Here we go. Brian says the audio is great, so right on. Let's go ahead and get started with this Raw review. I thought the show was very mediocre. I was bored with it. I thought overall it was a boring Raw. There wasn't really much storyline progression or development. It was just Money in the Bank qualifying matches with a relatively cold Long Island crowd, at least compared to last week in Montreal. Montreal was on fire. This crowd, Long Island, not so much. Tom McCarthy with a $2 super chat donation. Are you ready for the big dog, Boss Time, and the Kingslayer? I did catch Michael Cole doing the Boss Time, and it was funny when Roman Reigns came out for his entrance. The ring announcer JoJo started introducing Reigns, and Michael Cole had to pause for a minute. But of course, he had to get in his "the big dog" line, as he usually does every single show. We kicked off Raw with Kurt Angle. Angle came out, announced some qualifying matches. I get it. There's 6 weeks until the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. WWE needs to fill time. However, I wish there was more creativity than just, oh, let's throw a bunch of qualifying matches on the show. And that was it. There was no real storyline development on the show at all. Very little character development. There were a few things which I will talk about. Tommy just left a $2 super chat donation. Raw was a huge FU from Vince for walking on Roman. That's pretty much how I feel, but I expected it. I expected WWE to just continue business as usual. Back in my day, I hate to sound like an old guy here, but back in my day when there was a pay-per-view that was not well received, the next night on Raw, it would be a really hot show. The biggest example I can remember is the 1997 In Your House pay-per-view right after WrestleMania 13 when it was Steve Austin and Bret Hart, Undertaker, and Mankind. That pay-per-view overall was panned. It was not a pay-per-view that was well received. And the next night, WWE just went all out, had this amazing show, and it was a great Raw. This was the Raw where Steve Austin attacked Bret Hart in the ambulance and just went on complete rampage mode. At the end of the show, Brian Pillman showed up and attacked Austin. That was an awesome Raw. Caleb Jacobs just left a $2 super chat donation. How do you call on Skype without a Skype number? All right, Caleb is wanting to know how to use Skype. So you guys in the chat room, please explain to Caleb how he can call in on Skype without having a phone number or without having to pay for it. If somebody could do that for me in the chat room, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's get back to the present day. I don't want to spend the entire NoDQ Live talking about the old days. Let's talk about this week's Raw. Kurt Angle made some matches. We had Braun Strowman come out, and apparently Strowman is going to be in Money in the Bank, so no Strowman versus Lesnar. I'm scared. I'm scared it's going to be Lesnar versus Roman Reigns yet again at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Although, I will get to this at the end, there does seem to be another direction. So maybe Lesnar's not competing at all at Money in the Bank, and we will not see him again until SummerSlam. So here we go, the same Brock Lesnar pattern where he only shows up every once in a while, and there's no Universal Champion. I'm hoping a SmackDown guy wins the men's Money in the Bank match, because if a Raw guy wins, how do you even tell that story? Brock Lesnar almost never shows up, so the Raw Money in the Bank holder doesn't even get an opportunity that often to cash in the contract. It would be ridiculous if a Raw competitor wins Money in the Bank and Brock Lesnar is still the Universal Champion. But as Al Capal says, there's 6 weeks left. Maybe Jinder Mahal is just filler for Roman Reigns. But I'll get to that more in a few minutes here. We did have some qualifying matches. We had Ruby Riott, who still has her happy-go-lucky babyface music. I'm not a fan of it. If she's going to be a heel, she needs a different theme song. It's way too upbeat and happy for a villain. Just my opinion, though. I know some people say, well, it fits her or whatever. I don't think the music fits her at all. In my humble opinion, watching wrestling for 30-plus years, I don't think that theme song fits her at all. If she's going to turn babyface, then yeah, it's a good theme. But if she's a heel, she needs a darker theme song. Slower tempo. Just a darker theme to go along with her being a villain. She's not a babyface. She's a heel. She's part of a faction. They interfere. And I knew it. I knew it was only a matter of time before I got the Amish comments in the chat room. Yeah, right now I look like an Amish person or Abraham Lincoln. Take your pick. So we had the triple threat match, Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks versus, who was the third person? Oh, Ember Moon. Ember Moon, of course, won the match. I should remember this. I will be perfectly upfront with you guys. I don't remember most of Raw, and I did watch the entire show live. I'm having trouble remembering the events on this show. I should be taking notes. I usually do it for the pay-per-views, but for Raw, I just wing it and see. I test myself, what I can remember, what I cannot remember. And I think that makes for an entertaining video, just to see what I remember or what I forget. I think that's a good judge of the quality of Raw also, what I can remember and what I cannot remember. But Ember Moon did win the match, and I do like Ember Moon. I like her theme music. I like her entrance, her look, her presentation. Everything about her comes off to me like she's going to be a big deal. Maybe she'll win Money in the Bank. Maybe a babyface will win Money in the Bank this year. Last year, we had two heels win. We had Carmella win, and then we had Baron Corbin win. Nelson just sent a $2 super chat donation. Finn Balor desperately needs to win Money in the Bank. Again, maybe a babyface will win this year. Maybe Balor will go heel. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I personally would like to see... Elias or Bobby Roode or Samoa Joe win Money in the Bank. Time will tell if all three of those guys end up in the match. Right now, for the men's, we have Braun Strowman, who defeated Kevin Owens in the opening match on Raw. It was an alright match. Kevin Owens was bumping like crazy for Braun Strowman. That's always fun. Never expected Owens to win, and of course he did not. Braun Strowman picked up the victory. So Strowman is in, and the other person in the men's Money in the Bank is Finn Balor. Finn Balor defeated Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn in a triple threat match, which was the main event of Raw. To answer the question in the chat room from Sam, I believe it's an 8-man and an 8-woman Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm assuming 4 from Raw, 4 from SmackDown for each match. And I'm not sure if there's 2 or 3 on Raw. WWE only announced 2, but there was a promo by Breezango. They were talking about winning Money in the Bank. So I'm thinking maybe there will be 3. Maybe there will be a tag team Money in the Bank ladder match. The poster for Money in the Bank has 3 briefcases. Who knows what's going on? Maybe WWE will announce it. Maybe they'll change their minds and there will not be a 3rd Money in the Bank ladder match. In my opinion, I think 3 is overkill. I'm not a fan of 3. I love seeing ladder matches. I'm going to this show in Chicago. By the way, NoDQ.com/Chicago. If you're attending Money in the Bank or you are going to be in the Chicago area that weekend. Head over to NoDQ.com/Chicago. I would love to see a lot of ladder matches. Don't get me wrong, but 3 in one night, I definitely feel is overkill. I like the idea of just one, but two I will accept. 3, I'll accept 2. I just have to deal with it. But 3, I'm going to kick and scream along the way. 326 LCP with a $2 super chat donation. Will they have a third Money in the Bank match this year? It looks like it based off of the poster, but I could see anything happening at this point. Who knows? It's really hard to say until WWE officially announces something. Yes, we did have Breezango cut a promo, which makes me think there is going to be a tag team Money in the Bank match. DJ Whitey just left a $5 super chat donation. Thank you, DJ. I woke up in Aaron Riff's body and it turned out way cooler than DJ's was. Well, I guess I will take that as a compliment. Thank you for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. I also feel like a tag team Money in the Bank match, to me, that seems like too many cooks in the kitchen. How would you do that match? Oh, Ascension cut a promo. So I guess there's going to be a tag team Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't know. I don't know at this point. How many teams are you going to have? Are you going to have just 4 teams? 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown? I think anything more than that, it's going to be a train wreck. If you had, say, 3 teams on each brand, 6 teams total, that's 12 guys in one match. That's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. There is that saying, too many cooks in the kitchen. I'm not really a big fan, but I will poll you guys. I will post something on NoDQ.com, a poll asking you guys about a tag team Money in the Bank ladder match, because I'm curious what the NoDQ Galaxy thinks about a possible tag team Money in the Bank match. Power Packers 90 left a $2 super chat donation. Local ads here are saying that there's a tag team one. Well, there you go. Thank you for that, Power Packers 90. Like I said, the poster for Money in the Bank has 3 briefcases. Kane Horn just sent in a $3 super chat donation. That the first time we saw Rotunda Brothers fighting? I'm not sure. That would be a question for our wrestling trivia champion, Greg Cherry. Go ahead and message him. Head over to NoDQ.com/Greg. He might know that. I don't remember if there was an occasion where we had Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt in the same match. Maybe they did have a match with each other. Ah, here we go. Ma Wrestling says Social Outcasts versus the Wyatts in 2016. There you go. He just answered the question. Ma Wrestling, maybe we should have you on a future edition of Wrestling Trivia Challenge. So yeah, we did have the Woken Hardys defeating Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. They're trying to make it on their own now. No Miz Taraj. I forgot what name they were calling themselves. I think they were calling themselves the... What were they calling themselves? I don't even know. I don't know if they have an official name yet. Maybe somebody in the chat can suggest a name for these guys. Andrew says, I like the shirt. Well, thank you for that, Andrew. Lord Dark Helmet says the Woken Lovers. What is that a reference to? I'm not even sure. Job Squad. Yeah, I guess that's a name for Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Official AC says the Social Outcasts V.5, version 5. The Foundation says the Extras. There you go. That's an interesting name. The Extras. Adam says Social Outcasts reunited versus the Woken Warriors. Too Sweet Productions says I would love to see Almas in the Money in the Bank ladder match. That would be a good match for him to be in. I know we got more qualifying matches coming up on SmackDown. Of course, I will be back tomorrow night to talk about that. Let's finish this Raw review. So Jinder Mahal complained to Kurt Angle about not being included in the triple threat match. Jinder got his win back against Chad Gable. Chad Gable, of course, beat Jinder, I think, 2 weeks ago. So, typical 50-50 booking. Jinder Mahal got his win back. Nobody in the crowd cared. This was not a good crowd, like I said at the beginning of the video. Last week in Montreal, that crowd was hot. This crowd, not so much. They were distracted on multiple occasions. I believe there was a beach ball at one point. From what I heard, there was a proposal. Maybe somebody who attended the show can fill me in on exactly what went down. But there were several occasions where the crowd was distracted by something else going on. They were chanting, "You deserve it." It might have been a proposal. Might have been a beach ball getting popped. I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought that this crowd in Long Island was really lackluster, at least compared to Montreal. Montreal was one of the better Raw crowds of the year, maybe the best Raw crowd of the year. So it was a tough act to follow. Brian says Jinder versus Roman in the main event and Money in the Bank, everyone walks out. So in the main event, the triple threat match for the spot in the Money in the Bank match, we had Jinder Mahal. After he already defeated Chad Gable, he came out and he prevented Roman Reigns from winning the match. I thought the match was all right, but I was bored with it because it felt very predictable to me. They brawled on the outside. Finn Balor gave the double foot stomp to Roman Reigns, and Roman was out of the match for like 5 minutes, and I was just waiting for him to show up. He was going to pop up again and spear somebody, and sure enough, he popped back into the match, was about to win, and then Jinder Mahal cost Reigns the match. I believe it was Zayn that was pinned by Balor. So Finn Balor is officially in the Money in the Bank match. And it looks like we're going to have Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. Hopefully it's just on Raw. Although, if it's like we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. No win situation here because it's either looking like Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal at Money in the Bank, which to me is a bathroom break match, or it's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar 4 at Money in the Bank. Either way, neither match sounds very appealing to me personally. And it's also a possibility that Roman Reigns will end up in the Money in the Bank match. He'll get a second chance. Next week is in London, so it's going to be another hostile crowd towards Roman Reigns. We'll see what WWE does with Reigns, which direction he goes in. Maybe WWE will just blow off the Jinder Mahal program and Roman Reigns will beat him, go on to Money in the Bank, maybe be part of the ladder match, or feud with Brock Lesnar. Who knows at this point? We had Elias do his concert again. Elias has been great. I've really enjoyed Elias's segments as of late. I feel like he has a lot of potential to win Money in the Bank. I think he's a good candidate for it, unless WWE decides to go with a babyface contender. You can even have a special guitar case instead of the typical briefcase for Elias. He could come out with a Money in the Bank guitar case. How about that for a concept? There's a lot of creative things WWE could do with Elias as the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. I just think it's more likely a heel wins. It typically makes more sense unless somebody like Bobby Roode wins Money in the Bank and he turns heel once he cashes in the briefcase. I would like that. I think Roode definitely needs that heel turn. There's something you could do with Roode. Have him win the briefcase as a face, but then cash it in as a heel. Brando wanted to make a big deal about John Cena dating Carmella. I have not heard anything about that. I think that's just speculation. But the whole thing could be a storyline. Who knows at this point? And I'm not sure I even care. Whatever happens, happens. If it's a storyline, then whatever. If it's real life, it sucks. But I don't really know what to make of it. WWE likes to blur the lines, so whatever real life issues are going on between Cena and Nikki Bella. WWE is going to work it into Total Divas, Total Bellas, blur the lines, and people won't really know what exactly is storyline and what is reality. But WWE shot a bunch of scenes for Total Divas, so they are working that aspect of it at least. They might exaggerate it. They might take real life and just exaggerate it as well. You just don't know. Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. What are the odds for Rusev winning Money in the Bank? I would be cool with it. It would be great for Rusev, but I would not hold my breath on that. It's funny because on this show there were more Rusev Day chants. I believe when Elias was doing his concert, people were chanting Rusev Day, and I think there was another time on the show where they were chanting Rusev Day. I know when Mojo Rawley came out to accept Seth Rollins' open challenge, and by the way, what a disappointment that was. Seth Rollins comes out, he's teasing that he's gonna have an open challenge, and you get your hopes up thinking it's going to be somebody interesting accepting the challenge, and then it's Mojo Rawley. And yeah, it was a fine match. Rollins can have a good match with just about anybody, but yeah, I was hoping for something else. Rawley out there, he's just a guy to put over other people at this point. Same thing with No Way Jose. No Way Jose has cooled off very quickly, losing on this week's Raw in the 6-man tag team match. I think it was the Revival and who was the other guy? Somebody's going to have to help me here. The Revival and somebody against, I'm trying to think of the other people that were in the match. Oh, Titus Worldwide and No Way Jose. I don't remember who the other guy was, the team with the Revival. Corbin. There we go. Thank you, guys. Baron Corbin. And Corbin just feels like he's going nowhere. I don't care about Baron Corbin at this point. That's why I had trouble remembering him on this show. I just didn't really care about any of those guys. All those guys, I feel, are basically lost in the shuffle and have no real direction. Unfortunately, almost nobody on this show has any compelling storyline direction. It's just guys going out there and having matches. It's boring. And that's how I felt about this show. They just had qualifying matches, and that was the storyline. People were having qualifying matches, and Jinder was upset about not being in the qualifying match. Other than that, you had a little bit of a build with Bayley and Sasha, but still, that is taking forever to develop. I really don't care about that either. Nothing on this show I had any emotional investment in. Now, I'm sure there were some people out there that enjoyed Raw, that thought it was a good show. It was about his family. He was in the army. All this stuff to try and make you be able to connect with Lashley. I'm not sure how effective it was. There was no mention, by the way, of Donald Trump, which WWE is doing on purpose because of all the negative publicity for Trump right now. WWE just doesn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So they just noted that Bobby Lashley was a headliner at WrestleMania, and that was it. No mentioning of the Battle of the Billionaires, Vince getting his head shaved, nothing. No reference to Trump whatsoever. Ashley Chambers says, love this show, following for years now. Well, thank you very much, Ashley, for tuning in. And again, thank you to everyone for tuning in to NoDQ Live. And I apologize for everybody earlier on, the YouTube technical issues. Tom McCarthy with a $2 super chat donation. Fun fact, Authors of Pain had a dark match during the Lashley segment. Yeah, I heard about that. So apparently the live crowd did not see the Lashley segment. And by the way, there was, again, no mentioning of TNA whatsoever. So Lashley came into WWE, he was red hot, and then all of a sudden he left. He did MMA for a little bit, and then I guess he was doing MMA for 10 years, according to WWE. And then he came back just a couple months ago, and He's right back where he left off. I feel like that segment is not going to help him. Lashley needs an edge. And I'm not talking about Adam Copeland. He needs something to give him an interesting character, because right now he's just a generic power wrestler. That's what he is. He comes out there, he does some power moves, and he doesn't really have anything else going on for him. He needs something. I'm not sure if it's a heel turn or he needs to be more aggressive in some way. Maybe he needs a mouthpiece, as Brian points out. I just think he needs a heel turn. Ryan and Chris both agree on that. Same with John. Tom McCarthy says, best NoDQ live ever. Well, thank you for that. I mean, the beginning wasn't so hot, but once I got the video restarted, at least we're back on track here with the video. And I thank you all for sticking around. We have 260 live viewers, so thank you all for watching live. And I know a lot of you watch on demand as well. Johnny Jam Films says Lashley needs to go back to Impact. Well, he doesn't need to go back to Impact. I'm sure he's in a way better position in WWE making the big money and actually being able to perform in front of large crowds. Psycho Jet Black, will you grow the protest beard again? I am going to shave the beard very soon unless Roman Reigns turns heel. If Roman Reigns turns heel, I will have a happy beard where I am happy that WWE did something nice to make the fans satisfied by turning Roman Reigns heel. But if Roman doesn't turn next week, I'm getting rid of the beard. The mustache was the first step. After Backlash, I had to do something. I was just so angry and annoyed that I had to do something. I took this razor and I was in the mirror with the razor and I had to do something drastic. So I got rid of the mustache out of pure anger. Next step is the beard. And I'm giving WWE 1 week. London. If Roman Reigns does not turn heel next week in London, I'm getting rid of this beard. If he does turn heel, I will keep the beard and grow it out. I will grow it out to Luke Harper proportions if Roman Reigns turns heel next week. Brad says I should grow a Braun Strowman beard. Maybe I will. If Roman Reigns turns heel next week, maybe I will. I might just do that. So I think I covered pretty much everything noteworthy on Raw. If there's anything else I missed, this is the time to let me know. I'm sure there are some segments I missed on a 3-hour show. Let me know what else you would like me to discuss from this week's Raw. Nelson says Elias needs to start winning matches. The gimmick is great, but everyone knows those fade away. Travis W. says define a heel turn because some say he's a heel now. Hulk Hogan 96. Hogan came out, leg dropped Randy Savage, told the fans to stick it, brother. That was a heel turn. Steve Austin turning heel, joining with Vince McMahon. Not a good heel turn, but that was a heel turn. So you'll know it when you see it. Trust me. A real Roman Reigns heel turn, you'll know it if it ever happens. I don't think it will, though. I really don't. Oh, all right, Kevin. Kevin brought up Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler versus Heath Slater and Rhino. We got 2 of the 3 3MB members in one match. Basically a squash match to showcase the team of McIntyre and Ziggler. I like that move where McIntyre had Slater upside down and Ziggler did the drop kick. I thought that was a really cool double team move. And then I do like their double team finisher. It feels like at least somebody on Raw has a little bit of momentum right now. And that's Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler for that matter. I think both of them at this point have a little bit of momentum and potential as a tag team. Where is TJS? That's a great question. He's here like every single weekend. He's nowhere to be found. But you can follow him, by the way, NoDQ.com/TJS. Also, Kayfabe Candy Ass, who is in the chat room, has his own URL now. Go to nodq.com/KCA for Kayfabe Candy Ass, of course. Braden says Ziggler is actually in a good spot for once. I agree on that. I think there is some potential with these guys as a tag team. As Kevin puts it, the Claymore zigzag. The Watcher says Roman does a lot for the company and is a draw. I'm sick of him, but he is a big name when selling seats. I don't think people buy tickets to WWE shows to see Roman Reigns. Maybe a few do, but my feeling is people buy tickets to WWE because it's WWE. And it doesn't really matter who's on the card. If it's a big show, the tickets will sell themselves. The event will sell itself. Maybe there are some kids, maybe a few adults out there that do buy tickets to go see Roman Reigns. They want to see the big dog. I'm sure those people exist, of course. Of course there are people that exist that specifically want to see Roman Reigns. There are draws, but it's a much smaller degree than it was 30 years ago. Now people go to see the brand. It's the brand that sells. The Watcher says my daughters came only to see him, or it would have been me and my son. Well, there you go. So Roman Reigns does draw to a degree. Ambrose outdrew him on the SmackDown house shows, says Kayfabe Candy Ass. There you go. I mean, you could argue about who the bigger draw is, but it really doesn't matter. If there was a difference, it was a small difference. I don't really think there's any one person in WWE that is a significant draw, like, say, a Hulk Hogan from 30 years ago. It's just a different era now where people tune in because of the brand. They go to Raw because they want to see Monday Night Raw in person. They go to a pay-per-view because they want to see a pay-per-view. Tom McCarthy says, if WWE wanted NoDQ to be an official sponsor, would you do it? That ain't going to happen, so that's a silly what-if question. But sure, if they paid me money, I would sell my soul. Actually, I wouldn't, but it's not going to happen anyway, so it's a moot point. So the big question a lot of people are asking in the chat room is, where was Jason Jordan? He was reportedly backstage at the show, but he did not return tonight. He should be back at any time now. I would assume he's going to be back for Money in the Bank, but who knows at this point? Maybe he'll team up with Chad Gable again. Maybe the storyline with Kurt Angle will be dropped. I was a little surprised we did not see him on this show. Maybe we'll see him next week. Maybe they just had nothing creatively for him this week. Who knows? Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Can a Rock versus Roman match help Roman go over? It's not going to help him any more than any other Roman Reigns match. The Rock came out at the 2015 Rumble and that did nothing. A match between them, it would just be the standard Roman Reigns match where he would get booed, Rock would get cheered, and if Reigns won, Rock would endorse him and the crowd would boo. It would just be the same repeating cycle. So I don't think there's anything that can help Roman Reigns except for just a full-fledged real heel turn, like a Hulk Hogan style heel turn from 1996. And I said this before, I'll say it again. Why not? Braun Strowman can be the guy. Let him be the face of the company. Turn Roman Reigns heel. At this point, I think it's worth it. I don't think there's much of a risk in turning Reigns heel. It's not like he's the number one merchandise guy. I mean, I think Cena is still the number one merch guy, and Reigns and AJ Styles are neck and neck for the number 2 position. With the right merchandise, Strowman can be number 1. Put out the right merchandise and those will sell like hotcakes. So that was Raw. I think I said my piece. I hope as Money in the Bank draws closer, the quality of the show will pick up. I'm not expecting much from SmackDown this week, but I will be back tomorrow night with another edition of NoDQ Live. So If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, turn on the notifications, and keep spreading the word. Tell a friend about NoDQ Live. That'll do it for this edition of NoDQ Live. Stay tuned to the NoDQ channel for more, and I will see you guys tomorrow night for another edition.